Swinging a high fly ball. They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Holy cow!
And there he goes! It's time to step across the line with James Collier as he takes you inside the octagon of sports. With the latest from the world of sports, the scores, interviews, and the hardest-hitting analysis in the business. Let's step into the octagon of sports.
Let's go!
With your host, James Collier.
But I watched one of the most unprecedented come-from-behind wins after the Raceland Rams went on the road to Pikeville and go up 27-0 and watch the Pikeville Panthers come from behind and score 35 unanswered and win 35-27. Good morning, everyone. James Collier. I think it's morning. I'm not really sure. It's a lot of blurry stuff this morning. But a really weird situation last night as the Raceland Rams took to the road for the third consecutive week and battled up against the Pikeville Panthers. And with all the storms that were looming around last night, several games got pushed into today. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But we played under lightning, flashing all over the place for over an hour. Never stopped. Never even thought about stopping. And then with 4:47 to go in the third, and Pikeville facing a 3rd and 8, all of a sudden the lights finally got the attention of the officials. And they stopped play for an hour, right at an hour 5, I think is what it was, close to it. And we were told the teams were going to return to the field at 10:20, and we were going to resume at 10:30. Well, the teams came back out on the field. It was like 10:15ish, right at that, and they had a 15-minute clock up. And then the official looks up and says, "Put 3 minutes up there. We're going." And then it was scramble drill of everybody trying to get ready. And what happened was right out of that timeout, and when we resumed play, Pikeville had 63 total yards of offense at that point. And on 3rd and 8, they hit a 61-yard ball right down the middle, and Jeremiah Anderson took it to the end zone for the first of what would be a comeback score for the Panthers. They recovered 2 onside kicks. They threw a home run ball that got between 2 Raceland defenders right at the goal line, and they came up with it, and that would give them the go-ahead opportunity with the extra point that made it 28-27 with 16 seconds to play. And then the Raceland Rams tried to go down the sideline, was just trying to chip away, no timeouts remaining, and a pick 6 gave us our final score of 35-27. I've never seen anything like it in person. The only thing that I could put it comparable to, thinking of modern day that people might think of, was obviously the 28-3 comeback by the New England Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl. The first one that came to mind, though, of this magnitude and this size was Buffalo and Houston in the, I guess it was mid-90s maybe. 38-3. Houston was leading. The Houston Oilers, by the way, not the Texans, the Oilers. And Buffalo came back and won that game 41-38. And it was one of those things that everything that had to go right for Pikeville to do what they did last night did. And for the Raceland Rams, it was Murphy's Law. If it could go wrong, it did. The drive that gave Pikeville the lead, their tailback, Jaden Justice, fumbled the football after crossing midfield, and it found its way at the feet of a Raceland player. And as he dove on the football, the ball squirted out the side and allowed Pikeville to recover it. That's the type of things, anything that could go right for Pikeville did. I did a little research last night of what is the odds of a team recovering 2 onside kicks in the same game. Now, of course, these numbers I'm about to give you are based through the NFL. So, one could argue maybe it's a little bit easier to do it in high school, but the skill level I don't think is quite there. So take it for what it's worth. But either way, it's roughly about 0.8%, less than 1% of a chance of recovering 2 onside kicks. It's 1 in 123 is the probability. And Pikeville did it on back-to-back times. It was just, at times I was almost left speechless of watching what transpired. And the question becomes now is that how much of a defining moment will that be for both of those teams? Because Raceland came in, they were top team in the Class Single A after the first AP vote came out this week. That's not going to be the case when they get the week number 2 vote. How far up the ladder will Pikeville go? And, this is the year that many believe this is Raceland's year to go get a state title. And, will this be that gut check moment that the Rams needed? That, it looked like Raceland was poised to put a running clock on Pikeville. And I think, not to make any excuses whatsoever, but if the stoppage doesn't happen, we're not talking about this right now. It was a totally different ballgame. That was the best possible thing Pikeville could have happen for them, to go inside the locker room and talk about it. The other side of it is, and I'm call a spade, Raceland wasn't playing 11 on 11 last night. They were playing 16 versus 11. Because I call out an official when they're good, I'll call them out with the bad. The officiating last night sucked. It was terribly one-sided. And there were too many opportunities for calls to go down the way they did, and it always favored Pikeville. Raceland had been flagged 2 times in 2 games coming into that contest last night. Last night they were flagged 13 times for 113 yards. Pikeville, 4 for 30. And don't forget a huge inadvertent whistle when Raceland kicked it away that set up the final drive that Pikeville had the football with right at 41 seconds to go, that they went down and took the lead. The kick would have been downed at the Pikeville 13, but the official, with an inadvertent whistle, as Jake Waller hung one in the night sky with an absolute perfection, forced the Rams to re-kick, and the Panthers moved the ball out to the 24. Now you're saying, okay, it's 11 yards. That's 11 big yards in 40 seconds and no timeouts. And in the biggest moment of the game, how in the world you have an inadvertent whistle, I have no idea. There was another play that at the end of the third quarter, it did not look like Pikeville got the football off. Yet the handoff went to Jaden Justice, and he scurried down the sideline for 31 yards that set Pikeville up for what would be their second touchdown. And there was just too many oddities that happened in that game. And it was, like I said, it favored one side. Take it for what it's worth. No trophies, no rings handed out last night, as Coach Mike Sammons likes to say. But this one will be a defining moment for both of these programs as they move forward. All right, let's look at our scores from last night. We had one game play on Thursday night. Lawrence County defeated Ashland 24-21. Ashland had a chance to tie it with a 39-yard field goal, or 41-yard field goal attempt as time expired, and it did not go through. So Lawrence picks up the strong win at home. In the Lightning Bowl, as they tabbed it, it was East Carter defeating Boyd County 34-20. Fairview beats up on Berea 38-0. Nicholas County, no problem with Lewis County 54-7. Mason County beats Fleming 36-20. Russell blanks West Carter 35-0. It was Portsmouth over Greenup 24-9. Now, several games got moved to today. That's games in the local areas. So Harlan will play Morgan County tonight at 7. Hazard goes to Prestonsburg tonight at 6. Johnson Central and Belfry will play at 6:30 this evening. And Rowan County will go to Bath County at 10 o'clock this morning. They should have just kicked off. So that's where it was from around the area last night. One big number to throw out there, a huge, I don't know what you want to call it, an upset, maybe so. But either way, a powerhouse in Class 4A of Boyle County, who was the odds-on favorite last year to win Class 4A, and then got beat before they got to the finals. They played last evening they played Lexington Catholic. And Lex-Cath, a 3A team, they were 1-1 coming in. Lex-Cath beats Boyle County 17-7. That's a big one there. Another Class A game that's as of note, KCD over Spencer County, 29-21. So Spencer County was 1-1 coming in. KCD wins that one to get themselves to 3-0. So it'll be interesting to see how the things line up this week when the new rankings come out. The rankings will post on Tuesday they'll post on Tuesday of each week, and we'll see how things play out as we move forward. A lot to talk about this morning. We'll talk Major League Baseball postseason heating up with about 3 weeks of the regular season still to go. NFL football week number 1 is underway. We had Thursday night football, Friday night football, and then we get a full collection of games tomorrow and then a game on Monday. We'll take a look at all those games. And college football, week 1 was phenomenal. We had some great games. The bad side of it is week 2, we don't get that. We've got some really bad games this weekend. We've only got one ranked opponent playing each other. That's Michigan and Oklahoma tonight at 7:30. But we'll look at the top 25 scoreboard and get you all set up for that. Plus the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the week a little bit later on in the show. All right, we'll take our first break. We come back, we'll dive into Major League Baseball and take a look at the postseason run with 3 weeks of the regular season still to play. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkeley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station, we're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical homes, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Let's get back inside the Octagon of Sports with James Collier and Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
I feel like I've been through an octagon after the last 12 hours. My goodness, it is. You know, that's the thing. I will say this is as you get older and you lose sleep, man, it is tough to recover. It has been a crazy busy week for me with everything going on. And it just, last night, making that long trip down to Pikeville. And, you know, usually I make the trip to Pikeville. I stay where I work for University of Pikeville doing football and basketball for them. But a couple of years ago when recently I had the trips to Pikeville and Hazard, it was the same weekends when UPike was at home. So it was nice. I had the team hotel to stay. This year the schedules don't line up at all. The Pikeville week, we're off. Hazard week, they're out of town. So no UPike games for me to be able to just stay in Pikeville. But, man, it would have been nice just to go to the hotel and crash. And I would have been, instead of a 2+ hour drive getting back home, especially driving through that storm that we drove through, I've been in the hotel about 10 minutes. But either way, it's about 2:30 this morning, I think, when I put a head to pillow So I'm certainly dragging, to say the least. Either way, let's dive into Major League Baseball. Scores from around the bigs last night. Cubs over the Nationals 11-5. Reds, God help them. Andrew Abbott, this guy's a dude, okay? He just never gets enough run support to do anything. He's got a sub-3 ERA and an 8-6 record now in the season, as the Reds fall to the Mets 5-4 at Great American. White Sox over the Tigers 7-5. Brewers beat the Pirates 5-2. It was the Orioles over the Dodgers 2-1. Dodgers have lost 4 consecutive now. Blue Jays beat up on the Yankees in the Bronx 7-1. The Blue Jays 11 hits against the Bronx Bombers, who had only 4 to their total. Phillies triple up the Marlins 9-3. It was the Braves beating the Mariners 4-1. Guardians over the Rays 7-1. Guardians keeping their name in the conversation for the American League wild card. Royals, another team that's in that conversation, they beat the Twins 2-1 in Kansas City. In 12 innings, the Rangers outlast the Astros 4-3. Giants have won 10 of their last 11, and they're trying to make a push in the National League wild card race. They beat the Cardinals 8-2 in St. Louis. It was the Rockies over the Padres 3-0. Angels get hammered by the Athletics 10-4 at home, and the D-backs double up the Red Sox 10-5 in Arizona. So looking at the standings, here's where we stand with about 3 weeks of the regular season still to go. The Toronto Blue Jays, a commanding 4-game lead over the Yankees, 4.5 in front of Boston. They sit at 82-59. They've won 3 consecutive. They lead the East, and they have, at the moment, the best record in the American League. Detroit is second at 81-61. A comfortable 8.5 game lead over the Royals. The Guardians are 10 back, but winners of their 6 of their last 10. Detroit has lost 7 of the last 10. And that's the thing with the Detroit Tigers, is they have been so yin and yang all year long. You know, before the All-Star break, we were talking about the Detroit Tigers may have the Central wrapped up by the time we get to the first part of September. And then all of a sudden, we came out of the All-Star break and out of the trade deadline, and we were wondering, are the Tigers going to even be able to hold on to this thing? And then they got hot again. Now they've gotten cold again. So, you know, it's. I think that they've got the goods to make a push. I just don't know if I have a lot of faith in them to be able to do it over a full run of a postseason. I just don't think it's there. We'll see. But I think they're going to cruise in for the Central Championship. But there's a lot to be decided there for what they can do. Obviously, you've got one of the best pitchers in baseball right now in Tariq Skubal. But what have you got that you can play behind him? That's the question. The Astros still in front in the West. They've got a 3.5 game lead over the Seattle Mariners. The Rangers trying to keep things interesting. They've won 7 of the last 10, which is interesting to say after losing your stud and your ace of Nathan Eovaldi when he went out with a shoulder problem. So don't look now, but Texas is trying to claw themselves right back into this wild card conversation as they're only a half game out of that last spot. Over in the National League, the Phillies still with a commanding 6-game lead over the New York Mets, who collapsed in the midseason whenever it was basically the Phillies and the Mets were trading spots. But the Phillies at 82-59, they're second best in the National League, with the Milwaukee Brewers, the best record in baseball, at 87-55. They've gone 5-5 over the last 10, but so have the Chicago Cubs, who sit 5.5 games out of first place in the Central. The Reds are now 16.5 games out of first place. They're 6 games behind in the wild card, and they have gone back under 500. And for the Cincinnati Reds fans out there, when the Reds spent the money to bring in Terry Francona and bring in a high-caliber, big-name manager, and all of the people out there that was just ranting and raving said this was the best thing for the Reds that they could have ever done by running David Bell out. That was the problem, all the issues with David Bell. Well, what have you got to show for it? Another 500 season. The money needs to go on the field, not in the manager's office. And don't get me wrong, Terry Francona is a great manager. But the basic fact of it is there's only so much you can do with the talent that you have. And when you're playing with a talent pool that is a couple of decent names and a lot of has-beens, never-will-be's, and AAA rosters, it makes things a little difficult. And that's the problem that Cincinnati Reds have, is they are a small market team that's not going to spend any money. Plain and simple. Elly De La Cruz will not be in Cincinnati for very long. Somebody that will pay him big for the power that he possesses will move him into their organization, and he will probably move to where I think will be the best move that anybody could do with this guy, and that's move him into the outfield. You put that cat in center field, there is not a ball that's probably going to fall in the gaps because he's going to run it down. I do not think he is a shortstop by trade. That's where the Cincinnati Reds can get the best bang for their buck from him. But I think if you put him in a center field position, you would completely change the complexity of what he brings to the table defensively. And then, of course, we all know what he can do offensively. His speed is second to none. But the Reds are going to have to either pay him or he will be playing somewhere in Dodger blue or somewhere in New York. It's going to happen. It's just the way it happens. You're the run of the bunch. You're the last at the food bowl. There's nothing left but scraps for the Cincinnati Reds, and that's what it's going to be. And again, it's proving the fact. They're 500 ball club after paying the big money to bring in Terry Francona, and nothing changes. The LA Dodgers still holding on to a 2-game lead over the Padres. They're 78-63 on the season. They've lost 4 straight, 6 of their last 10. Fortunately for them, the Padres have been even worse. They've lost 5 consecutive, 8 of their last 10. And don't look now, the San Francisco Giants, who had been arguably one of the worst teams in baseball after the trade deadline, they have won 5 consecutive. They've won 10 of their last 11. And they sit now 6 games out of first place. They're only 4 games off that final wild card spot. Can they stay this hot down the stretch and make a run at this thing? That's going to be an interesting part, to say the least, to see what we're going to get. But things that look to be very mundane as we went into the last month of the regular season, there's a couple of these races that's going to pick up pace down the stretch. All right, if we played postseason baseball today, here's how things would size up. Blue Jays, Tigers, Astros, that's your 1, 2, and 3. Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners, 4, 5, and 6. So you'd have Houston entertaining the Mariners in a 3-game series, and the Yankees would entertain the Red Sox in a 3-game series. Then the highest remaining seed would go to the Toronto Blue Jays, and the other one would head to Detroit and play the Tigers in the wild card round. As it sits, the Texas Rangers are a half game behind the Seattle Mariners for the 6th and final spot. Kansas City's a full game back. Tampa, 2 back, and the Guardians are 2.5. Now, I've been saying the American League, I had it at 7 teams, with Texas being that 7th team. And I still don't know if I'm ready to expand it back out anymore, but I think I'm going to stay with 7 teams. I'm not ready to make a full-on push just yet, just because of a little bit of a blurb. But we could make a change next week, depending on what happens this week with the Royals and the Rangers, if either of them find a way to play themselves in. And could this be one of the biggest collapses for Seattle, after many thought, this guy included, that Seattle was maybe one of the best possible options to make a push in the postseason because of the way they're stacked up with the hitting, the pitching, and just an opportunity to really do something big. But they have just been dismal down the stretch, losing their last 4 and 7 of the last 10. Their record against teams over 500, though, kind of is enough to say itself. 43 and 44. That kind of puts it in perspective. The downside for the teams behind them is they're even worse. The Rangers are 33 and 50 on teams over 500. The Kansas City Royals are 36 and 45. So that says a lot. But there's nobody in the postseason that has just a stellar record over teams over 500 other than the Blue Jays and the Tigers. The Blue Jays are 46 and 39. Their Tigers are 45 and 36. Everybody else is within 3 to 4 games of being on the positive side of the 500 mark. In the National League, Brewers, Phillies, Dodgers, that's your 1, 2, and 3. Cubs, Mets, Padres, 4, 5, and 6. So here's how it would play out. You'd have Dodgers, Padres in a 3-game series in L.A., Cubs, Mets in a 3-game series in the Windy City. The San Francisco Giants are 4 games off the pace from San Diego, Arizona 5.5. Cincinnati's drifted behind, now 6 back. I've said it, I believe, 2 weeks ago, going on my third week now. It's a 6-team hunt. It's locked in Sharpie. I'm not changing it. I am not changing it down the stretch. I will ride this one all the way to something getting that last week and taking me out and taking it down. But this was now our third week. I called the National League wild card as finished in Sharpie. Brewers, Phillies, Dodgers, Cubs, Mets, Padres. Those are my 6 teams, and I'm sticking to it. So I don't think we're going to see any seismic shifting there. The San Francisco Giants, again, they're blistering hot, but can they do anything down the stretch, especially looking at the division that they have to play in? Now, the schedule for the San Francisco Giants is not one that one would call easy. And again, you play in the National League West with 2 of the best teams in baseball, obviously, with the Dodgers and the Padres. But here's what they have left after this weekend. So the 2 games still to go with the Cardinals. They come back home for 3 with the D-backs, 3 with the Dodgers next weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They go to Arizona on the 15th through the 17th, a 4-game series in L.A., 3 games in St. Louis, and 3 games at Colorado. Now, the thing is, and I will say this, if they can find themselves in contention within a game or so of that 6th and final spot, they have to like their chances of those final 6 games with all of those being at home in San Francisco and the fact that they're playing the Cardinals and then the Rockies, which the Rockies are the worst team in baseball. So you're looking at opportunities there, but you have to get through that gauntlet they have to go through first off to get to that point. So a lot of things still to be decided there on that side of things. Speaking of the Colorado Rockies, we have made the century mark for the Rockies. They are at 101 losses and 40 wins. However, they are not going to break the Chicago White Sox mark of 121 from last year. It's not going to happen. It's mathematically impossible for it to happen now. That at 141 games on the season, so 20. I say mathematically, it's close. They got 21 games yet to play, so they could get it if they lost every single game the rest of the way. I'm still calling it mathematically eliminated. They're not going to do it. I would say they're probably going to settle in somewhere around 112, 113 will probably be their final loss mark. But we'll see how things play out down the stretch. All right, let's shift gears. We'll take a break. We come back on the other side. We will go across college football. Talk about week 1 and some of the games that played out, and take a look at the games that's playing up in top 25 action later today. That's as we continue our coverage here inside the Octagon on the Total Media Sports Network.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station. We're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
Hank FM weather.
Your Tri-State weather forecast is brought to you by Perry Distributing in Ironton and Ashland, proud distributors of Budweiser and Bud Light.
This morning, we can expect to see cloudy skies with showers possible and highs reaching near 70. Moving into this evening, the showers eventually fade with lows dropping to about 48. And a look ahead to Saturday brings plenty of sunshine with warm temperatures reaching 75.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back here on the Total Media Sports Network on Hank FM is, again, a gloomy weekend. It's so crazy that we go from having no rain for darn near a month plus, and then all of a sudden the skies open up, and it's done for the last 2 days is rain, and just absolutely crazy with the amount of rain and lightning, thunder, and stuff that was flashing up and down and all over places last night. It was crazy, but either way, it's going to be raining off and on today. It's not anything that's going to be a washout, but it's going to be enough to make things messy and disruptive if you have to be outside, which is something I do have to do. But we'll work through it as we go through it. But again, plan accordingly if you do have to be outdoors today. You're going to see some rain showers, nothing of the magnitude that we saw overnight. But certainly grassy areas and stuff are probably soaking up every bit of this that they could get, because, I mean, there's places in my yard, it just looks like a desert. And it's funny how some of the crabgrass will grow no matter what, and the rest of the grass, it just cannot deal with the heat. So if we could ever figure out a way to make crabgrass get the nutrients and the stuff that it pulls in and does everything with it and turn it into a good grass, you'd have grass no problem in this area. But either way, we'll see how it goes. All right, college football. Week number 1 was phenomenal. We had so many great games that we got to see, and week 2 is not going to be anything like that. But looking at a couple of the games from week number 1, number 1 Texas at the Shoe against number 3 Ohio State, the dawning of the era of Arch Manning, and I'm sorry, I was not impressed. You know, there's some people that they were basically ready to hand him the Heisman and hadn't thrown a first pass. And it's a good thing they don't give the Heisman on the first week of the regular season, because Arch Manning, he looked like that he would have been struggling to play in a JFL game. A lot of passes underneath, just low throws, missing his targets. Texas had the ball at the inside the 1 yard line on 4th down and goal, and somehow did not get it in. Now, credit Ohio State. I think there was a lot of questions that's still looming in the balance of what Ohio State's offense is going to be. And many are saying this is going to be a setback year for Jeremiah Smith. The downside of it is that I think a lot of that's going to be overshadowed with the basic fact of Ohio State's defense is really solid. And they've probably got 5 guys on that defense that's going to play on Sundays. So to be able to hold Texas, which is a very good football team, by the way. Don't play in the fact that Texas is bad. They're not bad. Just Arch Manning is not the guiding savior that everybody in the mainstream media wants to make him to be. 17 of 30, 170 yards, a touchdown. But he missed a couple of big throws. And the backside of it is that if Texas got that score in when they got stuffed on the goal line, I think this is a different football game. Because, again, when you're playing down 7-0, it's one thing. You're even at 7-7, it makes things a little bit different. You're down 14-0, it completely changes the complexity, especially in the second half, in the fourth quarter, to say the least. It changes the complexity of what you're trying to do. And that was a great football game. That was postseason implications in week number 1. That game will decide something major when the college football playoffs come up at the end of the season. But we'll see how it plays out. But again, Ohio State looked the part in the home opener as they win at 14-7. LSU Clemson, Brian Kelly finally gets his first season opening win at LSU. And I don't know. Dabo Swinney is just, at Clemson, I don't get it. This was supposed to be Clemson's year to make a wave. And you get beat at home by LSU. You know, it's interesting to say the fact that, you know, all great things have to come to an end at some point. And for LSU, finally Brian Kelly winning a season opening game was that thing finally coming to an end. But it was a 10-3 Clemson lead at the half, and Clemson don't score a single point the rest of the second half. And they gave up 14 points to LSU to get beat at home. That's not a good look for a Clemson team that many were trying to buy in on, that thinking that, hey, this may be a championship caliber team that could represent the ACC. Maybe one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, number 8 Alabama went to Tallahassee and played Florida State and got embarrassed. 31-17. Kalen DeBoer is not going to be in Tuscaloosa very long if he keeps this nonsense up. You know, he left a great job at Washington and came to Alabama as the successor to Nick Saban. And since he's been there, has been nothing but middle-of-the-road, very drab performances from the Alabama Crimson Tide. And the basic fact of it is, he has a very large buyout to the tune of some $70 million for his contract to be bought out. And the question looms is that if Alabama takes another early loss or takes another loss that turns where they have opportunities to of making the college football playoffs, is there enough money in Tuscaloosa that somebody's going to write a check in some excesses of $50 million for Kalen DeBoer to take a seat somewhere else? If this was in Texas and you've got oil money sitting behind it, I think it would already been done. But the question is that can they get through this week or this season and Kalen DeBoer still be the guy that is guiding Alabama moving forward? We shall see. But it's certainly going to be entertaining down the stretch, to say the least. On down the list, you had a great game. This was a phenomenal football game on Sunday night. Number 6 Notre Dame, number 10 Miami, and number 10 Miami holds on for the win over the 2024 season, 24-25 season, national champion runner-up. But I watched a lot of this football game, and it was stellar. Miami hangs on late. Notre Dame put up 17 in the fourth quarter to tie that ball game, and Miami gets the field goal to win it. 13th-ranked South Carolina gets a 24-11 win over Vatech. And the Gamecocks, I think they're going to be a team to keep a close eye on as they move forward through this season. I think they've got a lot of pieces of the puzzle that they can do some stuff with. And Shane Beamer getting the big win over his dad's former team of Virginia Tech, where his dad, made his legacy in football. But, it's got to be something that was big for him, obviously, to get a good season opening win over his dad's former program. All right, games today. These are in the 12 o'clock hour. Number 2, Penn State welcomes in FIU to Beaver Stadium. Number 7, Texas against San Jose State down in Austin. 11th-ranked Illinois heads to Duke. 14th-ranked Florida State. They go from unranked to 14th after knocking off the 8th-ranked Crimson Tide. They bring in East Texas A&M to Tallahassee. Other 12 o'clock games, Iowa and 16th-ranked Iowa State out at Jack Trice Stadium. Baylor is at 17th-ranked SMU. Kennesaw State at 23rd-ranked Indiana up in Bloomington. And Kent State is at 24th-ranked Texas Tech down in Lubbock. At 12:45, Utah State goes to 19th-ranked Texas A&M in College Station. 3:30 today, Grambling at number 1 Ohio State. Austin Peay will play number 4 Georgia at 2:30. Oklahoma State at 6th-ranked Oregon up in Eugene today at 3:30. Troy at 8th-ranked Clemson. Number 20, Ole Miss, goes to Lexington and hooks up with the Cats. We'll have that game beginning at 1:30 with countdown to kickoff right here on Hank FM. East Tennessee State goes to Knoxville against 22nd-ranked Tennessee. At 4:15, South Florida heads to the Swamp and 13th-ranked Florida. Tonight at 6, Cal Poly's in Salt Lake City against 25th-ranked Utah. Tonight at 7, number 5 Miami welcomes in Bethune-Cookman into Hard Rock Stadium. 7 p.m., it's South Carolina State in Columbia, Williams-Brice Stadium against 10th-ranked South Carolina. Louisiana Tech heads to the Bayou against 3rd-ranked LSU tonight at 7:30. Number 12, Arizona State heads to Starkville against Mississippi State. 15th-ranked Michigan, 18th-ranked Oklahoma. This is our only good hope for a football game tonight if ranked opponents. That game will be on ABC out in Norman. And at 7:45, UL Monroe, Louisiana Monroe, heads to now 21st-ranked Alabama, their lowest ranking in the top 25 since 2008. And they'll welcome in UL Monroe to Tuscaloosa tonight at 7:45. All right, let's take a break. We'll dive into NFL games as Week 1 is underway. We'll take a look at the 2 games that have already played and preview the matchups that come up tomorrow when we get a full selection and collection of games for the NFL slate. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station, we're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vanceburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLGC.
Back here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network as we dive into NFL football, week number 1. 2 good games that we've seen so far. Thursday Night Football and the Lightning Bowl up at Lincoln Financial as the defending Super Bowl champ Philadelphia Eagles unveil the banner for the Super Bowl championship against their in-conference rival Dallas Cowboys. And most of the points of this football game were scored in the first half. It was 21-20 at the break. And then the Eagles put up 3 to get the victory after a lengthy delay there in Philadelphia. Jalen Hurts threw for 152 yards. He led the team in rushing. 14 carries, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, very pedestrian-like night, 18 carries for 60 yards and a score. Dak Prescott, 21 of 34, 188 yards, no touchdowns. Javonte Williams had 2 touchdowns for the Dallas rushing attack. And it's just, one of those deals of the Dallas Cowboys are going to Dallas Cowboy. It's not shocking. I think the only thing that shocked me the most about this was the basic fact of how close this football game was. But either way, good start for the Eagles. Cowboys, again, giving up Micah Parsons. And I still don't fathom the fact that Jerry Jones, in his, a delusional state that I'll call it, still thinks that team got better by getting rid of Micah Parsons. Not even close. Last night down in Brazil, it was the Los Angeles Chargers handing the Kansas City Chiefs a 27-21 loss. Justin Herbert, a phenomenal night. 25 of 34, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, though. But he spread the ball around very efficiently through the air. His Keenan Allen, 7 catches for 68, a touchdown. Quentin Johnson, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns in the winning effort. Ladd McConkey, 6 catches, for 74. LA didn't run the ball very well, though. 25 carries for 90 total yards. But the backside of it is, neither did Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, 24 of 39, 258 yards, a touchdown. He was sacked twice. He was the leading rusher for Kansas City. And when Patrick Mahomes is your leading rusher, that's not a good thing. Isaiah Pacheco, 5 carries for 25. Kareem Hunt, 5 for 16. And Xavier Worthy, 1 for nothing. That says a lot. Travis Kelce caught 2 passes for 47 and a touchdown. Hollywood Brown had 10 grabs for 99 yards. Juju Smith-Schuster, 5 for 55. I guess if Travis caught the ball, I guess Taylor Swift wasn't in attendance. But this is a big win for LA to get one over Kansas City. And, the thing is that everybody was talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, and they fell last year. Have we started to see the slope downward now for the Chiefs? Have they reached the pinnacle? We'll see. But that's a good start for Harbaugh and the Chargers and Justin Herbert. I think that's a foundation-building win for Justin Herbert to get a win over the Chiefs. So we'll see how things play forward, but I really like Justin Herbert. I think he's going to be one of the next big names in the NFL. He knows how to play the game, and he plays it smart. And I think that guy is going to have a very, very good career there in Los Angeles. All right, games tomorrow in the 1 o'clock hour. We've got some dandies. Up in Gillette, Patriots, Raiders. They'll kick off at 1 o'clock. Patriots a 2.5-point favorite as they open up the tenure with their new head coach of Mike Vrabel. Buccaneers are in Atlanta. Tampa Bay favored by 1.5. Bengals are in Cleveland. Bengals have a 5.5-point line that they're giving the Browns in this one. If the Bengals don't win this one by 2 touchdowns, Bengals fans, man, you might be in for a long, long season. Now watch, Joe Flacco will go light up the Bengals defense tomorrow to the tune of about 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, and the Bengals get beat with a walk-off field goal in some kind of crazy shootout of a game. Dolphins are in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil. Indy, a 1.5 favorite on that one. Cardinals are in New Orleans. Cardinals nearly a touchdown favorite. Jets and the Steelers up at East Rutherford. Pittsburgh, a 2.5-point favorite. Aaron Rodgers going up against his former team. There will be a lot of eyes on this one. I hate both of these teams, but I'll keep up with it just because I want to see what happens. But again, I would be okay if this game ended in a tie. I don't, or if both teams could lose. I don't want either team to win, but I'll take whatever would give. Giants Commanders in Washington, as Washington nearly a touchdown favorite in that one. The question about the New York Giants, how quickly are they going to put Jackson Dart out there? I think they've got to get that guy the ball soon. He is going to be, I think, one of the next big people, especially out of this rookie class. They've got to get him the ball. But you're going to keep Jackson Dart is going to be a name you're going to hear in the NFL sooner than later. Panthers, Jaguars down in Jacksonville. The Panthers, a 3.5-point favorite. 405, Titans at the Broncos. Bo Nix has an 8.5-point line in his favor going into that home opener up in Denver. 49ers are in Seattle. San Francisco, a 1.5 favorite. I like the Seahawks with Sam Darnold in this one for sure. After the question is still Christian McCaffrey in that cafe. He was on the injury report this week. Lions, Packers, obviously this is going to be a big one. The question is Micah Parsons going to play? I think there's still some major issues with that guy's back. But I like the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff and company, to go into Lambeau Field and get the victory, even though the Packers are favored by 1.5. Texans are at the Rams, and Sunday Night Football, Ravens, Bills in Orchard Park. This one's what a way to start off week number 1 with what could easily be an AFC Championship preview. Ravens at the Bills at 8:20. And then Monday Night Football, Vikings, Bears. That'll be a good one. This is going to be the season, I think, that Caleb Williams has to make a statement, or the Bears are going to have to move on, without a doubt. J.J. McCarthy's going to have his his rookie season, basically, after having the knee injury last year and did not get to play any. So this will be his rookie season for the Vikings after they move on from Sam Darnold, who won 14 games for them last year. So a lot of moving pieces there for the Vikings. The Bears getting the coordinator from the Detroit Lions as their head coach now. So how much will that make a difference? This one's going to be entertaining to say the least, but a decent Monday Night Football game to round things out in week number 1. All right, we'll take a break. We come back. It's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. That's as we continue here on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network.
Primary Plus is your home for quality, advanced, affordable health care, offering family health, OBGYN, counseling, dental, diabetes management, patient-centered medical home, school-based health services, and a pharmacy. Primary Plus also offers the COVID-19 vaccine. Primary Plus with locations in Ashland, Vandsburg, South Shore, Grayson, Tollsboro, Maysville, Flemingsburg, and now in Moorhead. Online, primaryplus.net. For quality, advanced, affordable health care, come to Primary Plus. Again, online, primaryplus.net.
At Clark's Pump and Shop, we're not just a gas station. We're your neighbors.
We're the folks who support your child's sports teams. Fuel your mornings with fresh ground coffee and have a friendly staff that probably knows the name of your dog.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Tired of gas prices draining your wallet faster than your tank?
Download the Clark's Pump and Shop Rewards app. Earn discounts on gas, breakfast sandwiches, drinks, and more.
Fuel up, snack up, save up with Clark's Rewards. Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, I'm Kevin Anderson with First National Bank in Moorhead. From home, auto, and construction financing to refinancing options, we've got the tools to help move you forward. We also offer checking, savings, and full business banking solutions built to support you and your goals. Stop in to see us and let's talk about how we can help you. First National Bank, a tradition of value since 1902. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Temperatures are on the rise, and so is the bite, and Borders Sporting Goods is your fishing headquarters for rods and reels from G. Loomis, St. Croix, Fenwick, Lewes, Shimano, Daiwa, and Abu Garcia. No matter what species of fish you are targeting, Borders has the perfect setup to make your next trip on the water a success. Borders has baits in every size and style with a wide selection of tackle from Berkley, Strike King, Zoom, Z-Man, Bandit, and many more. Before hitting the water for your next fishing trip, stop by and stock up at Borders Sporting Goods, US 60 West in Ashland.
Fox News, I'm Pam Puso. A pair of teens are facing murder charges for allegedly fatally shooting congressional intern Eric Tarpinian Jocham.
The U.S. Attorney for D.C., Janine Pirro, says Tarpinian Jocham was biking on the evening of June 30th when several suspects jumped out of a stolen car and started shooting.
Fox's Madeline Rivera, authorities say the 21-year-old was not the intended target. A third suspect is being sought. The Defense Department is now the Department of War.
White House officials say the name demonstrates our willingness to fight and win wars on behalf of our nation at a moment's notice, not just to defend it. The Trump administration says the name Department of War ensures peace through strength.
That's Fox's Christina Coleman. President Trump signed an executive order yesterday calling for the name change. America is listening to Fox News.
Sports scores, interviews, and more. This is Across the Line with James Collier on the Total Media Sports Network and 105.7 WLDC.
Back inside the Octagon on Across the Line on the Total Media Sports Network. Time for the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. Borders Sporting Goods US 60 in Cannonsburgh for all your hunting and fishing needs, as well as those Liberty gun safes. Go see Brad and the gang out at Borders. They'll get you all squared away. Deer season is officially here. Opens today as bow season comes in. So all of your archery supplies are on sale and ready to be get you wrapped up and ready to go for deer season. They've got plenty of supplies there. They're getting a lot of the show orders in from the last fishing show that Brad went to. All of those orders are coming in, so they've got new rods and reels, lots of colors from all the different bait manufacturers. All the safes are on sale with new colors also rolling in for those. Guns rolling in from the last gun show. They are stocked up. And, of course, why are they getting stocked up like this? Because we know it's September, so what do we got to start talking about? Christmas. But they do have layaway that is available. So now if you're thinking of some type of a big purchase for that someone special that you're looking to put something on your Christmas list for them, now's a great time to go out with things on sale at Borders and layaway available so you can get that item for whoever it is, that avid hunter or fisherman, anybody in the outdoors that needs something. Go see Brad and the gang. They'll get you all squared away. I had so many things I could have ranted about this week. I guarantee you most people thought I was going to rant about the officials. I think I maybe did that in the first part of the show this morning. But I'm going to leave them alone. I've beat that horse to death enough. But the rant side I'm going to go with, I saw a video from a game last night, Philadelphia-Miami, down in Miami. And there was a home run ball that was hit. And, of course, in Miami, there's empty seats everywhere. So the ball is going into the stands in a spot to where there's about it was either 4 or 5 people, all adults, by the way, let me say you, that all converge on the area. And a Phillies fan comes out of there with the ball, and it's a dad, and he came about 10 seats down from where he was, didn't dive over anybody, didn't shove anybody out of the way, just he went into the pile, and he was the one that came out with it. Well, he takes it over, and he gives the ball to his son. His son looked like he was probably, 10, 11, 12 years old, maybe like that. And then out of nowhere, here comes this gray-headed hag and jumps up in his face and just basically starts belittling this guy and berating at him about him taking this ball. And, meanwhile, the kid has the ball in his glove. So this lady will not get out of this guy's face. And eventually, the guy finally just gets the ball from his son, gives it to the lady, and shuns her away. And she walks away, cock of the walk, just as happy as she can be. She did her due diligence. She went over there and do the way we do in society. When we don't get our way, we go scream, yell, cuss, throw, hit, whatever we think we need to do to get our way. So the downside was the dad who was like, look, I'm not putting up with this nonsense here. Just take the stupid baseball. It's not worth that. Well, then a little bit later in the ball game, the Miami Marlins PR team saw what happened. So they come out into the area in the outfield where this family was sitting with a goodie bag. And the family also had their daughter that was there with them. So they brought 2 baseballs out, one for each, the brother and the sister. There was a goodie bag that had all kinds of stuff in it. And they said they saw what happened and they felt terrible. And they wanted to give them something to have so that they could, enjoy the experience that they had there at the ball game. And I thought that was admirable, to say the least. To be able to do something like that, that was absolutely remarkable. For that lady that took that ball, you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself, and you look like a complete idiot all over social media and everywhere out there, to say the least. That's the Borders Sporting Goods Rant of the Week. A lot of stuff coming up. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for all of the great games that we have on tap. Have a great weekend. It's going to be wet today, off and on. Rain subsides tomorrow. Should be a little bit better. But enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the week. I'll talk to you next week. For everyone at the Total Media Sports Network, I'm James Collier saying so long, everyone.
been listening to Across the Line with James Collier on 105.7 WLGC FM and the Total Media Sports Network. Tune in each Saturday morning beginning at 10 for the latest news and analysis from inside the octagon of sports on 105.7 WLGC FM, Green Ashland, and the Total Media Sports Network.